All right, let's dive in. All right, guys, if you guys have any questions, any urgent questions, sorry, if you guys have any urgent or quick questions, drop a number one in the chat. If you guys do have questions, turn your cameras on. That way I can kind of gauge and have an idea of who's going to be asking questions. Obviously, if you're driving or if you have some stuff going on, you can go ahead and turn your cameras off, okay? Todd, what do you got?
Hopefully this will be fairly quick. Noah asked me if we could have you help with setting up the long weekend discounts and the
Yeah,
in-between discounts for Arizona.
absolutely. Yeah, that will be quick. So let's go ahead and do that. So go ahead and share your screen. I want to guide you with it, unless you shared it via LastPass, and I can pull it up on my end. All right. And then where you're going to want to go to do rule sets is you will hit calendar. And then right there on the right, you see how it says no discount. So that's going to be where your rule sets are at. So on the bottom, you'll hit create a new rule set on the bottom right. And let's do your long weekend. So your long weekend is going to be just basically like an extra form of a discount.
Okay.
So like we have our Airbnb discount, and then I call that like my first line of defense, and then my second line of defense will be like my what do you call it? Your rule set, which will just be like a quick way of adding a discount. So let's just say hypothetically, with your Airbnb discount, your pricing is sitting at $80 per night. And let's just
Mhm.
say we need to drop it very quickly. Rather than having to do all these complications, we just add a rule set and it'll bring it down by a couple of dollars, like $5 or $6. So it'll just be a quick way of adding just a quick little discount to bring your pricing down a little further. Okay. That will be
Okay.
your long weekend. So you can go ahead and write long weekend, go ahead and change the color. And then you will click length of stay discounts. And then you're going to do select 2 night. And then you will select 3 night as well. I'll have you select all of them. So then go ahead and select 3 night. And then you'll go all the way up to 6 nights. So do 4 night, 5 night, 6 night. And then I'll tell you what to put in each one. Alrighty. For 2 night, you will put, here, I'm going to have you change it a little bit. For 2 night, you will put 33%. For 3 night, you will put 35%. For 4 night, you will put 37. Oh, shoot. My apologies. I was giving you the wrong one. Give me 1 second. So it's going to actually be, for 2 night, it's going to be 16. For 3 night, it'll be 31. For 4 night, it will be 44. For 5 night, it will be 52. And then 6 night, it will be 54. And then you can hit save on the bottom right. So these will be your long weekends.
Okay.
And then the next one I'll have you put is going to be the in between. The in between is exactly like its name. It's going to be your like a quick form of discount that you place in between two bookings. So let's just say you have a
Okay.
booking from the 1st to the 5th, and then you have another booking from the 10th through the 20th. And then you have a gap in between of like a couple of days. You will put that in between there. The reason we put that in between there is because those gaps are usually a little bit more challenging to get booked up. So we want to incentivize a booking to come quicker. The way we incentivize one is by increasing those discounts. And I don't want to increase your discounts for your entire listing for all future months. I only want to do it for the specific place that I put that in between on. So then you put that in between just as a quick way of increasing that discount on that gap. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So we will do the same thing in between, different color, which you already did. Then you'll do length of stay discounts, and then you'll select 4 night all the way, or sorry, 2 night all the way through 6 night. All right. And then 2 night, you'll put 37. 3 night will be 39, 41, 43, and 45. And then that'll be it. So those are all the rule sets that you need. Now, These rule
Okay.
sets that I'm giving you are mine. I give them
Mhm.
to all of our clients. Uh, because the long weekends are a little bit, or the rules, I should say the rule sets. The rule sets can be a little confusing sometimes when you're creating them. So I give you guys mine. That way it's a good guide. And for majority of our clients, they actually work perfectly fine. We never have to edit them. But
Okay.
as we continue working together, doing pricing together, there will be small points where we do maybe see some issues and we have to redo those rule sets ever so slightly. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Do you
Okay.
have any other questions I can answer for you in the meantime?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. Of course, Todd. Happy to help. All right. Let's see who else do we got. Michael, what do you have?
What's up, Andrew? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, doing well. I was hoping that you could take a look at my remote lock. For some reason, the automated emails are coming from Hospitable in terms of the check-in emails before and after, but that initial email isn't being sent from a remote lock giving the code.
Code.
So I was hoping that you
Yeah,
could
let's
look
take a
into
look.
that. Okay. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me pull up the
What I want you to do is go ahead and hit integrations. Then I want you to hit Airbnb, click your name, and then what specific was it? Kind of all of them, or was there one
No, it's
specific
this
one?
one right here, the Mesa
Aspire.
one, the 20, yeah.
Perfect. Go ahead and hit that one. Sorry, click on the blue. Yeah, there you go, the blue name. And then the issue right here, that way everyone knows. Just because we connect Airbnb and remote lock, it doesn't connect the code or doesn't connect the lock to the specific unit. So this is what
Got
we
it.
got to do. So we just got to go and add the door. So when you click add door, you hit the device and then you'll find that one, add, and you're good to go. So now for your current reservations that you have, it will not send a code. It will not mess anything up. But for any future reservations that happen starting now, it will now send that automated message with the code. So you'll be good now.
Okay. Sweet. I have pricing questions as well, but if you want to take other people's, urgent questions, maybe we could jump into that at the end as well.
That that was it for urgent questions. So why don't you start us off for pricing? And then
Okay.
anyone else that has any questions about pricing, drop a number one in the chat, and then we'll jump straight to pricing.
So the two that I'm looking at right now are this top unit, which is the Mesa one. On this,
Mm-hmm.
I've had two bookings here. They've both basically been break-even bookings, and
Mm-hmm.
they've kind of been booked like day of. Right now, I have this starting on the Saturday at, if I test for a week out, it's at about $80 at a $49 break-even.
Okay.
Um, so looking at that, and then also this in between right here, I don't know if you would suggest adjusting the pricing on this as well.
Absolutely. Okay, good stuff here. So yours is a kind of cool scenario because we can definitely see the two differences here on how we operate your portfolio. Because your specific portfolio, you have one unit that's in a slow season and entering a peak of a slow season, and then you have another unit that's in a mid season entering peak of high season, which is your
Right.
Birmingham properties. So it's a cool little feature because you can see the difference in bookings. Like this one's going to be a little bit slower to get booked up. We're going to be a little bit more strategic. Where for all your other Alabama units, we can be a lot more on the edge and a lot more aggressive in terms of the pricing, having them higher. And that's why you're seeing these bookings at like really good rates, which you're
Yep.
crushing in it. But we still got to be strategic with it. Just because we're in a higher season doesn't mean that we can just ignore pricing and just let it do its thing. We still need to be on top of it, which I know you're not. I know that's obviously why you're asking the question, but just making a point. So what we're gonna do is this. Let's first work on the Mesa unit. That one's in a
Okay.
slow season. Let's plan for that. Then we'll work on your other unit. So for this one, what we need to do is this. Like what's happening right now is like we're testing by week. Okay, cool. We got this week booked up. Obviously, we had no lead time. We got booked up at our break even. Perfect. The whole point of dropping to our break even is not like, hey, we drop to our break even, then we keep going, then we drop to our break even, then we keep going, drop to. That's not the whole point of it. The reason we drop to our break even is so we can instantly get a booking, not leave money on the table and lose money, and that way we have that booking, it secures us, but it increases our lead time. So now it's like, okay, now I have more time to test higher price points. That's the whole point. So the second a booking comes in, we want to already set pricing for the upcoming stay.
Yep.
Then we don't want to stop there. Do not worry. You're learning this, so it's totally fine. Once we stop there, oh, I think someone messaged me. Once we stop there, or sorry, I got distracted. I got thrown off. Someone was messaging me saying that they were waiting to get let in. But once we get that set and we set that first week, we already want to start planning for the following week. Okay. So how it will look is like this. Okay, cool. We got a booking. Now we want to, as we get closer to this opening of Saturday, the 16th on that first unit, as we get closer to that, we want to be strategic in dropping, especially since it's a 2 bedroom. If it was a 1 bedroom, we could wait till the 15th to drop. I know you weren't on the call yesterday, but we were talking about this for the 2 bedrooms in the slower seasons, is that I want to already be at my break even 4 days out because it's a bigger property and it's more expensive. So I want to be more strategic with it. With 1 bedrooms, we can play a little bit more on the edge because they're kind of similar to like hotels. Like people are going to come last minute potentially. So we can wait to the
Yep.
last minute as we drop pricing. Now, what we want to go ahead and do though is I want to set the 16th because it may look like we have a 2 day lead time, but just because I know the market, you don't have a 2 day lead time. Like we already need to be dropped. Like I would have been dropped by the 11th. So I already want to drop the 16th through the 23rd to my break even, but we're not going to stop there. Then from the 23rd to the following week, we're going to have that at our higher price, a slightly higher price point. And then we'll see what the third week is sitting at. But that's how we're going to test it because how we test is the following. Maybe today someone doesn't book the 16th to the 23rd, but maybe today or tomorrow they book the 23rd to the following week. So they booked the second week out. And it's like, cool, we'll take that because now we got that. But now it also teaches us and guides us that, hey, people are willing to pay this price point, whatever they book it at, they're willing to pay this price point 2 weeks out. So now we have a
Yeah.
guide. We know, hey, 2 weeks out, I can be at this price point the lowest. I can probably be a little higher because that booking came in quick. Then from there, we can start slowly finding our price ceiling for the high season, or sorry, for the slow season. Because we essentially do the same thing for everything. Like what we're essentially trying to, like our first year operating, this goes for everyone, no matter what market you're in. Your first year operating, like it's going to be a learning lesson the whole way through because what you need to find out is every seasonality is different, every market is different, every property size is different. So and everyone's rent price is different, so everyone's going to be a little bit different in terms of their lead time and things like that, and their price ceiling and price floor. So what I essentially mean by that is, like, for example, my 1 bedroom in the high season, my let's just say this, my 1 bedroom in the high season, my target daily rate to profit my goals of 800 to 1,000, let's just say it's between 75 to 80. But guess what? In the high season, I know people are willing to pay as much as $120 per night for my 1 bedroom. So I know, hey, as long as I'm within that 120, I know someone's going to book it. Anything over that, it's probably a little bit too much. I shouldn't be sitting over that. But I also know, hey, in the slow season, 2 days out, I can drop my break even's 50. I can drop to 60 and people will book it in seconds. So I know in the high season, I never have to go as low as 50. I know I can go as low as 60 and someone books it. Same thing translates to the slow season. Hey, I know my target daily rate is 75 to 80, and that's my target daily rate. But in the slow season, maybe people aren't willing to pay 75 to 80. Maybe they're willing to pay, let's just say 70. So I know, hey, my price ceiling in the slow season is 70. But at the same time, my price floor in the slow season, if my break even's 50, maybe my price floor isn't 50, maybe it's 55. So I know I don't have to come all the way down to 50. I know I can come to 55 and someone instant books it. I know that's a lot of information, but that's kind of how my brain works when I'm analyzing these things and testing it. Is I like to know that information because then I know, like, hey, I don't have to drop so low as I think I do. And I don't need to be so priced so high because some people are like, oh, it's high season, I'm going to be at 200, and they don't get booked up. And I'm like, well, dude, your target daily rate 70, you're sitting at 200. Like, let's be realistic. Like, be at
Right.
120, like be at 150. You've been getting consistent bookings at that. Let's be at that. Like, we know we're not seeing anything over that. Why are we over that? So it's kind of knowing that stuff. Yes, we can always test higher. Maybe we have one or two bookings that are a little higher, but we want to know what that sweet spot is where it's like a no-brainer that people book. Okay. Anyways, a lot of
Okay.
information there, but I just kind of want your guys' mind, not just you, Michael, but everyone's mind on the fact of, like, that's kind of what we're testing for, engaging for this first year of operating, is finding that information. And the only way to find that information is we're going to have moments where, hey, we end up at our break even. And we're going to have moments of, hey, maybe it's like, oh, someone booked it 2 weeks out at a lower price than what we wanted. But hey, it's a testing point because we know it came in quick. So we know, hey, if I put it at that price point, a booking comes in quick 2 weeks out. So essentially, going back to the point that we were talking about, that's what we want to test for. So we'll set the 16th to the 23rd at break even, then the 23rd to
Yep.
the following at a higher price point. So let's go ahead and
A
test
higher
that.
price
So
point, like if my break even's 49, or do I want to do like 80? What would you say?
That's what we'll get into right now. I didn't want to confuse you. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Right now, I want to focus on the 16th to the 23rd. So let's test from the 16th to the 23rd, and let's see what that price is sitting at.
All right, let
Because
me
we want
share
to be,
my,
like I said, we want to be at our break even. You said your break even's 49.
yeah, 49. So this is the 16th to the 23rd, 882.99. So I did it, and sorry, I have a million things going on here right now. 882.99. So we're looking at, yeah, 80 right there. So uh
Target daily.
target
Or
daily is, or break even's 49. Target daily is 103.
okay, cool. Let's do this then. Go back to that price labs and let's test pricing. So, oh, you already tested pricing. It's sitting at 80, you
Yep.
said? Okay, all right.
80. Yep, 80.
Okay, so yeah, so in that case, we are sitting too high. We need to come down to it's a two bedroom. We probably don't need to come to 49. We can probably come to like 60. So I didn't realize your break even was so low for a two bedroom. That's pretty sick. All right, so we'll probably come to like to 60. So if you're sitting at 80, I would do like maybe a 25% discount. Let's see. I don't know if this is right. We just gotta test it. Yeah. And then we can go back to that pricing screen, refresh it, and then see where when it drops.
Okay, so it's at 139.
And if anyone has questions, guys, drop a number one in the chat. While we wait for that, I'll talk a little bit about that second week. So what I'm going to be aiming for that second week is when I say a higher profitability, I'm still not going to aim for your target. I'm still going to be conservative. I'm not going to be too high. I'd rather be a
Yep.
little lower and see how quickly that booking comes in. Because if I'm a little lower, perfect. Now, what I would like to be at for 2 weeks out is I would like to be at a $600 profitability since you're a two bedroom. So what that would look like is I'll do 50 times 30, which is 1500. That's your total expenses for your unit plus 600 comes out to 21 divided by 30, 70. So that second week out, the 23rd through, I want to be at a $70 per night.
Okay, so 70 per night. Okay.
Yep. So first week we'll put it at 60 because your break even is so low. I didn't realize it. For some reason, I thought your break even was like in the 70s. But your break even's only 50. So we have a little bit of time. 60 for a two bedroom per night is like a no-brainer. So we can sit there and we always have room to drop too. So we're gonna put that
Okay.
first week at 60 and then we'll put the second week at 70 per night.
So 16th to the 23rd at 60, and then 23rd to the 30th at 70.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, okay. So 16th at 60. Okay. And then retesting this. So 746 and 84.
Hmm.
746, 84. So we're at about 65 right now. So bring it down a little more.
Yeah, maybe go up to like a 30% and they'll probably do it.
Okay. And then I can test that. Okay. Perfect.
And
And then the other one was just the this in between right here.
yeah, since it's a two bedroom, I know I was like, you're in high season, but same thing. The same rules still apply. If we have no lead time, I don't care if we're in a high season or in a slow season. If we have no lead time, I'm not going to have my pricing too high. So what I would do is like, I would already have that like to your break even as well for that two bedroom, just for that gap, because it's just the gap getting booked. Like your month has already been killer for these units in Birmingham. Like you're already profitable for the month. So like technically when I'm already profitable for the month, when I put something at my break even, it's just profit. It's not like I can put it at shoot at $20 per night, and if someone books it at $20 a night, that's all profit for it. So it's like I don't really care. I rather just get do not put it at $20 per night, by the way. But like my point being is that like if you put it at your break even and someone books it, great. It's all profit because you're already profitable for the month because you've been getting massive bookings from the beginning of the month all the way through towards the end. So I would have that in between gap at your break even.
Okay, sounds good. I'll make the adjustment and yeah, thanks, Andrew. Really
Beautiful.
appreciate it.
Of course. And then just an easy little fix for you on that 2 day gap. You don't have to reshare your screen. That 2 day gap on the third unit. Um, I would put a no discount on both those days and put a fixed rate on both of them. Put a fixed rate at like your since you have a lead time, put it at your target daily rate of like $100, whatever it is. And just put a
So
fixed
that one's
rate, the
interesting.
percent.
That one's interesting because they're having a mold problem there, or I
Oh
guess
yeah, that's
I'm
the one
having
that
a
they're
mold problem
repairing.
there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to chase them down to get some sort of reduction in rent going into next month, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So I was going to give them a call right after this call and kind of get the
Yeah.
get the information from them.
Yeah, like we talked about, like, dude, it's not your fault that they didn't know that there was a leak on the unit above yours and that it was just slowly dripping, 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 dripping.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I would reach out to them like, hey, it's not my fault. Like, this is obviously a living condition. Like, get it fixed, which I know they're getting it fixed. But like I said, I would ask for concession for sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Of course. Alrighty. Eleni, what do you have for us?
Hey Andrew. So I got a booking last night. Very exciting.
I
But
heard.
I just wanted to see like if we could test the pricing for the following week. And then
Hmm.
also when I was checking like on Airbnb like the amount that like the money that was getting paid to me and I
Hmm.
subtracted the cleaning fee, it was actually below my break even point. So I just wanted to clarify that I'm doing
Yeah, let's
that
take a look. So
right.
I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Do you have it open or
Oh,
I
my bad. I
I'm
forgot.
sorry. No, no,
I
no, I
forgot.
can do it. I should have logged in. I hadn't.
No, let me pull it up. Where is it?
I have, let's see, I can share my screen. Okay. So
What do
I
you got?
guess,
Cool.
yeah, my listing up
All right.
here.
So this is how we'll do it. So what you want to do is, yep, 425. So you
Uh-huh.
do 425.40. What's your cleaning fee?
$90 here.
90 divided by 7. Oh, what did I do? So it comes out to 48. So
Yeah,
what we want to do is let's go to pull up your Google Sheet.
let's see. It was like, sorry, it's because I'm on my work computer. I
Because I
should
think you
have
have
checked
that
out
15% included, right?
the 15. Yeah, it was included. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you had showed me that it was included,
Mm-hmm.
but when I'm doing the math, I'm like, why am I getting 47 per night?
Yeah. So I'll show you where the confusion comes from. What are you basing it off of?
I'm basing it off of this 425.4 minus
But what
90.
expenses?
What do you mean? I
Like what
mean,
expenses are you
expenses.
like what should it be at?
My, so okay, the 425.4 minus 90 is divided by 7 is 47, but
Hmm?
I should be at 57, right?
Okay, so that's where the confusion comes in. That's why I wanted to ask you that. So no, you don't. You need to be at 50. So this is just to give a long story of what ends up happening here is on October 27th, last October, Airbnb came out with a new policy that requires that service fee that we're calculating that 15.5% to be taken from host. They got
Mhm.
applied worldwide. So everyone has to do that. Before, it used to be just 3%. So we never really cared because it never had any effect on us because the guest would pay the remaining amount. So the guest would pay half of the service fee, we would pay half of the service fee. Airbnb, like every business, is trying to find new ways that they can stay at the top with all their competition. So
Mhm.
most of their business comes from guests. I was under the impression it came from hosts, but it comes from guests. So with that being said, they no longer have the guest pay any service fee because they got a lot of complaints from guests. So now they have the host responsible for the service fee. Now it's no problem to us. We just got to calculate for that. So back in October when that change happened, we didn't know how it was going to affect. Obviously, everyone was being affected, so it was going to be a change for absolutely everyone. So I created a new system, including the 15.5% in the calculator, to already pre-calculate for it. That way, when we test our pricing, we don't have to subtract that 15.5%, which we didn't. But the confusion that started happening after we did that was exactly the confusion you had. People were like, "Oh my God!" When we put it at their break even, they were like, "Oh man, like I'm way under my break even by a lot." And I'm like, "Let's test." They're like, "Yeah, my break even should be 57." But then when we would test, your break even doesn't need to be 57. Your break even is actually 50. Your total expenses for your entire business is $50 per night. It only says 57 because we're adding that 15.5%. But if you took that booking off platform, like if you didn't go through Airbnb and you didn't have to pay that 15.5%, it would have been perfect. It would have been right where we wanted. Um, but we just have to calculate for that. So the reason you thought you were under is because you were gauging it off of the new break even, but you actually need to be 50. Now, were we perfect? Were we still under? We were still technically under. It was technically 48. It was 47.9. So we
Mhm.
round up those 48. So we were like $2 under, which is not horrible. Like I always say, hey, when I want a booking to come in, like I want it to come in. And I apologize. When we did your pricing yesterday and I said it, I tested both ends, but I did not tell you because I didn't want to confuse you on it. But I tested both ends just to make sure. And when I did test the other way and I subtracted the 15.5 from it, it did come out to 48. So I had already knew going into it, but I just didn't want to
Mhm.
confuse you on it. But yes, that's
Okay.
where it comes in. So you are fine. Your actual break even that we wanted to be off of is 50. But the reason why we set it at 57 is because when they subtract that 15.5%, it actually brings you to 50, which is where we want it to be at. Now, we do have two calculators because people were getting very, very confused. Like it would happen multiple times. So I was like, hey, for those people, like, let's switch you over to the other calculator. If you want to go that route, we will have to redo your whole calculator. So if you want to do that, we absolutely can. But I just want to make it clear, like, the only thing that you're doing is like when we go to testing and pricing, you're not subtracting the 15.5%. You're just subtracting taxes, cleaning fee, and that's your nightly rate. And you never want to line your nightly rate up. If you're trying to go to your break even, never line it up for 50, always line it up for 57 because when someone books at 57, it's actually going to be 50. Okay? Does that make sense
Okay.
a little bit?
Okay. Okay.
Kind of?
Kinda. So I guess because this 15% is here, like it's, I guess like the math, I don't know. Okay. So because it's in here, if I see that they're subtracting the 15.5%, then I just need to go off of this break even, not the 57.
Correct.
Pretty
So
much.
when we're
Okay.
testing our pricing, like exactly what we did right now, when we tested what's your profitability and we subtracted the cleaning fee from that 400 and we're like, oh, it's at 48. And you're like, I'm supposed to be at 57. No, you're actually supposed to be at 50.
Supposed
So
to be
we're
at
still,
50.
yes, we're still $2 under, but that's fine because the whole goal was I wanted exactly what happened. I wanted you to get booked up so that we can get you on a call so that we can start testing the higher price point. That was the
Okay.
whole point behind it because I don't mind a week at my break even because it's not my month. Like it's just a week. Now it still keeps me on trajectory to still be profitable because now I can now test a higher price point. And now we're a little bit more relieved because yesterday I would have been more stressed because I'm like, oh my God, I need a booking to come in. I don't want to go unbooked. Now we have a booking come in. It's like, all right, I got money in the pocket. Now I have a lead time. So now I can test a higher price point. So that's exactly what we want. That's why we want a booking to come in quick so we have opportunities to test because we can't test if we have no lead time because now we go several days unbooked and now we're just losing money, losing money, losing money. Then yes, we get a terrific booking, but it's like, yeah, cool. We just went 5 days fully unbooked. So it's like we just lost money on 5 whole days. So
Right,
that's what
right.
I don't want. Okay.
Right, right, right. Okay.
All right.
Okay, makes sense to me now.
Awesome. Don't
Okay.
worry. It's going to take time, but like as long as you understand that portion of things, you're good.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead and hit review prices. All right. So what we'll go ahead and do now is we are going to test from the 21st to the 28th. And now we have about a week lead time, which is perfect. So now let's go ahead and test that. So sorry, before we do anything on price labs, we would go to Airbnb so we can test it. Go ahead and hit calendar, please. And following our rules, we want to put a no discount on the 21st. Excuse me. The reason why we're putting a no discount on the 21st, guys, is we put our no discounts before a reservation and at the end of a reservation. The reason we do this is to incentivize someone to book the 21st, because what may end up happening is someone's just going to book Friday the 22nd through the following Friday. And now we'll have a gap on the 21st of just one day. So what we do is we put that no discount, because what we're going to end up doing is lowering that specific day. So the 21st is not going to be sitting at 184. We're going to lower that rate to like $100, $90, $80, $70, whatever we need to put it at. But I put the no discount because since it's going to be at a low rate, I don't want them to get a discount on that, because let's just say we have a 50% discount applied. I don't want them to get 50% off on a $70 night. So that's why we put the no discount. That way, whatever I set that day to stays at that price point. So that's why we put that, because I want someone to be incentivized to book the 21st through the 28th, because I want my bookings to be consecutive. I don't want to
Mm.
create gaps, because when I create gaps, that's what hurts people's calendars. That's why people that have fixed rates, you see only their weekends booked up or 3 days booked up, and their whole calendar is screwed up from that point, because it's not that it's impossible to fill in those gaps. It's 1,000,000% possible. We do it all the time, but we just fill them in at smaller price points. So it hurts our calendar overall. And sometimes they do go unbooked, and now it hurts our occupancy. So we want to avoid those gaps as much as possible. Even though they come up, it's totally fine if they do. But if we can avoid them, let's try to avoid them. So that's why I want a booking to come in from the 21st to the 28th, rather than the 22nd to the 29th or the 23rd to the 30th, creating a gap in between there.
Okay.
That's why we put
We
the no
always do
discount.
that. The day after someone checks out, or the day that person checks out, no
Hmm.
discount. We always do that.
Yes. If it
Okay.
is a weekday. If it's a weekend, no. So what I mean by that is, like, it's Thursday, so we put it. If it ended on Friday, we wouldn't put anything. We would keep our long weekend.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So now that you have that set, let's go ahead and let's just test pricing as is before we do anything. So hit listings. And just to gauge, this is a 1 bedroom in Texas or a 2 bedroom in Texas? 2 bedroom in
Two,
Texas.
it's a 2 bedroom, yeah.
Okay. What is your break even?
50 without the
50?
Airbnb, yeah,
Oh, but it's 57 with, right?
57 with, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to have you sitting at $1,000 profitability, just because I want to build that lead time up a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is this. So here's what I want you sitting at, and here's what I'm getting that price point at.
Mhm.
So you are in Texas. We're coming into a higher season. So what I'm gauging for is I'm looking at 2 factors. I'm looking at our lead time. I'm looking at or sorry, 3 factors. I'm looking at our lead time. I'm looking at our seasonality, and I'm looking at our bedroom size. That dictates what I'm going to put my pricing at. Because if I'm in a slower season, I'm not going to have a higher price point. I'm going to have a lower price point. But that all depends on my lead time. Because if I have a long lead time in a slow season, that will gauge how high I can put it. If I have a high lead time in the high season, that will gauge how high I'm going to put it. Now, your lead time is a week. You're coming into a higher season. So, first positive note is you're coming into a higher season. Next positive note is we have a 1 week lead time. Then the other thing is, okay, what's my bedroom size? If I have a 1 bedroom, I can play things a little bit more on the edge, because I know people can potentially book that last minute. If I have a 2 bedroom, I want to be more strategic, because pricing is going to be higher and it's a bigger property. So I would rather see like a 2 week lead time on a 2 bedroom, whereas for a 1 bedroom, I'd be comfortable with the 1 week lead time. What I mean by that is, for a 2 bedroom, if I had a 2 week lead time, I would be at a way higher price point, like a $2,000 profitability. But since I have a 1 week lead time, I'm not going to be so high. I'm going to be at $1,000 profitability, which is still a great profitability. But for a 2 bedroom, we want to be between that $1,600 to $2,000. But like I said, you're a new property. We're coming into a higher season. Your lead time is only 1 week. 1 week is good, by the way. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but I'm also gauging the fact that it's a 2 bedroom. So that's where I'm getting like, okay, because of that information, I'm going to set it at 1,000. Now, at the end of the day, we're still testing. It goes back to what I was saying earlier on this call, like with Michael, we need to test this stuff. So it's like maybe a week out in your market in Texas, people are willing to pay 2,000, but I don't know that, because in my market, maybe they're not. So it's like, we got to always test this stuff. So I'm going to put it at 1,000. Now, if tomorrow or tonight you're like, hey, Andrew, I got another booking for the following week at 1,000, I'm like, oh crap. Okay. That's terrific. That means, hey, a week out, we can probably be sitting potentially a little higher. So now we can note that, hey, a week out, we can probably sit a little higher than 1,000 because we know people are willing to book it instantly. So now that we have a 2 week lead time, now I'm going to test over 2,000, maybe like 2,500 or 2,100. I'm going to test a little higher to see if someone instantly books that. And maybe they don't instantly book it, but maybe a week out, they book it at, 1,800. And it's like, okay, a week and a half out, they booked it at 1,800. So we use all this information as a testing point so that we can keep finding our lead time, and then we can keep finding our price ceiling. I know that's a little confusing. I know that's a little high level, but that's fine. I just want to kind of show you what our thought process is going into it as we start learning this stuff. And you're not going to pick this up. You're not going to just hear me say this and see us do this and you'll know it. It's going to take, weeks to learn this and understand it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. But that's how I got the thought process of why I want you to aim for a target profit of 1,000 for that next week. So since we're aiming for a target nightly rate, since we're aiming for a target profit of 1,000, we need to know what the nightly rate needs to be. So how we do that is I'm going to take your total expenses, but I'm going to take them with the 15.5%. So I'm going to take that 57. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take 57.94 times 30, which is going to give me that price that you see above, 1,738.28. That is your total expenses with that 15.5% included. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do plus 1,000 because 1,000 is that target profit that I'm trying to achieve for that following week. Okay. That gives me $2,738. I am then going to do that divided by 30 because there's 30 days in a month. That gives me $91. So for that following week, I want you sitting at $91 per night or near it. If you're at 92, I'm fine with that. If you're at 90, I'm fine with that. It doesn't have to be $91.28 on the dot. Just as long as we're near that 91, that's where I want you at. So now going into it, as we're about to test, we now know in the back of our mind, hey, we need to be at 91. So when we test this, if we're at like 100 and something, we know, hey, we're too high. If we're at 70 something, we know, hey, we're too low. And then that will gauge what we do next. Okay. So now we can go back to the Airbnb screen to test and see what we are coming in at, like what it's sitting at right now alone. Because for all we know, it can be perfect.
So right now it would be the 1,173.53 minus the taxes. And then do I subtract that 15.5% here?
You do not because you already have it included. So this is the difference. So since you have it included in your calculator, you don't have to subtract it. If you did not have it included in your calculator, you would have to subtract it. But since you have it already applied, you don't have to subtract it. So you do the 1,173 minus the taxes and then minus your cleaning fee. So what is your cleaning fee?
$90.
90. So that got you 930. Did you get that as well?
Yeah, 930
divided by 7. Correct. The nights we're testing. You're at 133. So this isn't bad. I mean, we're coming into higher season. This is exactly what we want our pricing to be higher, but we're just too high for that upcoming week. And the problem that happens is that when we don't test our pricing, when we don't touch our pricing, we end up back at square one because what some people do is they don't touch anything or do anything because they think it's perfect as is. And this is why it's important to test because they think it's perfect as is. And then days go by, nothing happens. And then we're on the final day with the 1 day lead time. And it's like, I still don't have bookings. And it's like, did you touch anything? No, I haven't touched anything. Then we go test pricing. It's at 133. And it's like, well, your pricing is way too high. That's why we were supposed to, discount it and make it make sense depending on that lead time. So we need to bring that down to 90 or 91. So we need to add a decent discount. Now you are in a higher season, but you also have no reviews. So like this booking may potentially come in pretty quick because of that price point we're at. Because if you're sitting at 133 because Price Labs has your pricing high, Price Labs has your pricing high because it knows you're in a higher season. But Price Labs also doesn't understand our thought process of, hey, we're a new listing. Hey, we have no reviews. They don't understand that. So they're pumping that pricing up depending on knowing the seasonality of the market. Because Price Labs knows the seasonality. They know what's happening in the market. They know if there's an event. They know if there's a concert. They know if there's a parade. So it raises pricing depending on that and depending on the surrounding area. But we still have to gauge it because our pricing is different. Our expenses are different. Our location is different. Our bedroom size is different. So we still have to gauge it. We can't just rely fully on Price Labs. Okay.
Got
So let's go ahead and put a no discount on let's go ahead and put a fixed rate on the 21st of 91. Why are we putting a fixed rate of 91 on this day? Is because it goes back to what I said. We had that no discount on there. I want this to be a lower price point. That way someone books it. Now, where did I get that 91? The 91 I got because that's the price that I want that week to be sitting at. 91 per night.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're not going to stop there. What I then want you to do is put like a 35% discount from the 22nd to the 28th.
Or 20, sorry, okay. 22nd to the 28th. 35%.
Yeah, that's just a guess. I'm not a genius or anything. That's just me guessing to test because I want to know what it's coming out to. It may be, I may have just dropped it way too low, or I may have not dropped it enough. But from here now we can go test. So now you can go back to the window where we were testing price points on Airbnb, and we can just refresh this screen until the pricing drops. So once we see that pricing drop. So when we see that 1173 drop. No, you had it right.
Okay. I can refresh from here. Okay.
Yeah, you can. There it is. Perfect. So now we can test that and see what it comes out to.
32.86 minus 90. 643 divided by 7.
And maybe
91.8.
I'm pretty good. Don't worry,
Yeah.
guys. That was just complete luck. That was a guess. I did not know it's going to come out to that. But yes, that's exactly what we want. So 91.8. So perfect. Now we're sitting right where we want to be at. But that's not the final. Like we're done for today. That's what I want you guys to do every morning. So every morning when I test my pricing, that's the thought process that I go through. Obviously, I do it a lot quicker because I don't explain it. It's in my head. But the point that I'm trying to make is like when you get familiar with it and comfortable with it, that's what you do. Like, okay, I know my price ceiling. I know I have a 1-bedroom. I know I have a 2-bedroom. I know where I need to be at, or I know where I want to be at. So then you already start setting that. So like when I look at my pricing, like for my 2 bedrooms, and I'm like for example, I'm in Arizona, so I know, hey, I'm in slow season. I can't be charging high season pricing. I got to be charging slow season pricing. Now, obviously, I've been operating there for some time, so I know, and those units have been up for some time, so I know what people are booking them at just based off of last year. But even then, like on a yearly basis, things can change. Like for example, this year in Texas, this year in Miami, this year in other parts, like we have FIFA. We have no clue how the market's going to react. No one in the Airbnb industry in the US knows how FIFA is going to affect not only the market that they're operating in, but like I was telling you yesterday, Eleni, the surrounding markets. We have no clue how it is. So we got to gauge that. So this year might be completely different for people in Texas than it was last year, including people in San Antonio. Even though we don't have a FIFA game there, we have one in Dallas. But like I was telling you, people are not going to come from Mexico. They're not going to come from Europe or Asia to just see a game and then go back home. They're going to go check out the surrounding areas. They're already here. At least that's our thought process. At least that would be mine. If I'm going to Europe for a game or Mexico for a game, I'm not going to just go there for the game and come back home. I'm like, all right, well, where are we going next? So if we are along that same thought process, we kind of want to see how it's going to change our pricing for that market. So we want to be a little bit careful on how we're doing things. And by careful, I don't mean like, oh, we got to worry about it. But I'm just saying like this year's summer might be different than next year's summer. It might be different than last year's summer because we have a big event that's happening that, we don't know how it's going to change the market in a good way. So now that we're sitting at that 91, you're good. But as we get closer to that opening of the 21st, we want to be strategic. So I probably won't touch anything today. I probably wouldn't touch anything. Well, I know I wouldn't touch anything else today. I know I wouldn't touch it tomorrow. I wouldn't drop pricing again until Friday. And on Friday, I'll do a simple drop. If you're sitting at 91.8, I would probably come to like 85 and just hold it there at 85. And I'll hold it there all day for Friday, Saturday. And then from there, I'll drop it some more. Okay. Now you have a lot of room for dropping, so we can drop a little bit more aggressively. But I also want to be careful because, and by careful, I don't mean like in a bad way, but I just want to be careful in the sense of like, maybe someone's willing to pay 85 per night because Price tabs is increasing your pricing by a lot, which tells us that you're in a higher season. So I don't want to drop it too much because maybe your price ceiling is like $150 for all we know. And they're willing to pay that like one day out. Because we've seen that in Alabama and we've seen that in Florida, where two-bedroom lead time is like 2 days out. So we were dropping pricing like 2 weeks out, nothing would happen. And then 2 days out, they would book it for like a really high price point. We're like, what the hell? And I was like, oh crap, okay, we gotta reconstruct this. It looks like your lead time is 2 days out. So we've been seeing some of that stuff happen because like I said, every market is different. So we just got to gauge it and test it as we go. Okay.
And remind me, what do you exactly mean by lead time?
How many days we have until that opening? So how many days until the 21st? Because the
Okay.
21st is the opening. So if you go
Okay,
to
okay.
Airbnb, like your
Yeah.
Airbnb calendar, I'll show you how I count my lead time. So when I count lead time, I don't count today. I'll start tomorrow. So I'll count from the 14th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 will be the 21st or seven technically. So you have like a
Okay.
7 day lead time. That's what I count
Okay, so it's just the time, okay, until
until
you
the opening.
next the opening, until the
Hmm.
available date. Okay, okay.
Yep, correct. Other
So
than
when
that, though,
you're
you're
saying
sitting
that
perfect.
like in Florida that there's a 2 day lead time, meaning like people,
Meaning like this. So like for 7 days out, we were like, hey, we need to be at 91. We want to be a lot lower. But then by the time we get to the 19th, we'll be at like our break even. Like, hey, put it at your break even. And we would drop it to our break even and people would book. But what was happening in Florida and in Birmingham, Alabama was, and this was by complete accident because we saw it was just happening every single, like on the second day, like on a 2 days out. So like on the 19th, someone would book it. Someone would book it. I'm like, let's try raising our pricing a little bit and hold it. Like hold it. Do not touch it. Like, and I told the client, I was like, hey, like this may result in us, missing out on 2 days going unbooked, but I really just want to test it. So like, no, I want to test it too. So we tested it. We held a high price point to the 19th and someone booked it. And we're like, oh crap. Okay. So our lead time is 2 days out. We know we don't have to be so low 2 days out. We know we can be high 2 days out. Like I'm
okay,
talking like at a high profitability, not at our break even. So then that's what
okay.
we were seeing and it was working. And we're like, okay, so we know 2 days out, even though it's a two-bedroom, we can be a little higher, which is good, but it's stuff that we got to learn and we have to test for that. And that's why I was like, hey, it may lead, I may be completely wrong, but we don't know until we test it. And if I'm wrong, the worst case is like, hey, we lose out on a day or 2 days and then, we get booked up at our break even. And they were fine with it, obviously, because we had to test it because we had to know that information. And luckily enough, it worked out for the positive.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
I see what you mean now. Okay, so I'm
Perfect.
not gonna touch it until Friday and
Yeah,
we'll just
you're
yeah,
good.
test and see what happens.
Awesome. Keep me posted.
All right, thanks, Andrew.
Of course. Michael, what do you have?
Yeah, so I was just putting your feedback, Andrew, into Price Labs, and I had a question, something I'm coming across. Can I share my screen?
And yes, you can. It's on the in-between gap. It's not dropping price.
Exactly. Well, it's
Yeah.
dropping, but like I know that there must be a minimum
The
set on the
weekends.
Friday, Saturday because I keep adjusting it, and it's pretty much bringing these down to like, nothing. So I'm just wondering how
Yeah.
you handle that.
I knew you were gonna have a question on this. I was actually gonna
Yeah,
circle
yeah,
back and
yeah.
tell you it. So that's how I already knew what it was gonna be about. So how we would do is you're absolutely correct. So because the weekends have a minimum, it's a good thing.
Yeah,
I can put 100% discount on the weekend, and your weekend will not drop below 249 because you have a minimum set on price tabs, which is exactly what we want. Now,
right.
in this case, we don't always do this. We would only do it in this specific case where, like you're mentioning, Michael, like they're not dropping and it's causing a funkiness. So what you would do is you would have a percent discount on the 17th and 18th, but you would put a fixed rate on the 15th and 16th. So I'd put a fixed rate of maybe like 200 or something like that, where it's still high, but in this funky gaps, I always say, I don't need someone to book all 4 days. Shoot, if someone just books my weekends at a high price point and then now I have to worry about a 2 day gap, I'm fine with that too. But yes, what you would do is you would put a fixed rate on your weekends to drop them to that specific price that you want.
Okay. And then when I put a fixed rate, like when I drag it across those 2 days, so basically go like this, add the fixed rate, 200, is that putting it at 100 for each day or is that 200 for you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it'd be 200 for each day.
All right, so I'll do that, update, and then modify this so that when you go across all 4 days, it basically gives you that break even that you were suggesting I do.
Correct. So like maybe the sweet spot is the 15th and 16th at 180 and the 17th and 80 and the 17th and 18th at like a 50% discount. Maybe that's the sweet spot to get us to what we want. But yes, that's exactly what you do.
Okay, sweet. All right. Thank you,
Just
Andrew. I
like that.
appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, no worries. Rule of thumb though, real quick before I let you guys all go. On your weekends, even though you're adding a fixed rate, Michael, on your weekends, never drop them below your target. So if your target daily rate is $100, your
Yeah,
weekends will never drop below $100 because you do not want to put your weekends at your break even. Your break even minimum is 59. You do not want to put your weekends at 59 because that's where bad guests come in. That's where you get like, because it's on a weekend. So weekends are the most incentivizing days. Someone's just going to book one night and you're going to get a bad guest. Not like a party, but just maybe someone that's trashy or messy, and you don't want that. Okay.
understood. Cool. Thank you.
Of course. Alrighty, guys. We'll wrap it up here. If you guys do have any other questions, shoot us a message on Slack. If not, we did not have a meeting on Monday. I ended up moving that meeting to tomorrow. So tomorrow we will have a group call at 6 p.m. Eastern. That will only be for this week. Next week we will go back to our normal time of meeting on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, shoot them to us on Slack. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one.